Okay guys, thought I'd start off by explaining what I've done to the bike so far. We'll go from the front of the bike to the back of the bike. So to start with, probably the biggest complaint or the biggest thing I didn't like about the bike was the front tire that came with it. It came with Dunlop AT81F, which might have been okay, but it had a real weird profile, or weird to me from what I'm used to riding. It came with a 90/90 21, and I'm used to the motocross tires where they're 80/100. Here you can see the profile difference in this tire. The stock one's a lot wider and flatter. Now, granted, there's no air in it, but it is wider and flatter than the 8100 that I went with. So I opted to go with something a little more familiar, and I got the Geomax 52F, and that's as close to what I'm used to riding on. And as soon as I put that on, the front end started handling a lot better. Had some handling issues to what I believe was the odd profile on the tire that I'm not used to. Now that tire might be better suited for more riding where it's a little more rockier or harder and drier, but I ride on clay and I get into some loam, and when the clay gets slippery, you know, it was really causing some handling issues. So I changed that out, pretty easy fix, and it works for me, so that's what I went with. Next up, I wanted to kind of dress up the front end a little bit just because they kind of look plain right from the factory. So I went with the KTM fork guard decals and an HRB front disc cover. Moving back a little bit here, I went and got the KTM exhaust flange protector. From what I've heard, that, you know, it is possible that you can damage the exhaust flange on the cylinder if you don't have one. So I bought that. I was going to put a pipe guard on it and decided not to, just because a pipe guard was almost half the price of a new pipe, and I don't really ride in a lot of rocky terrain, so chances are pretty slim of really damaging the pipe bad. But I figured if I ever do, then I'll just go with an FMF or a Pro Circuit or something. Not that it lacks any performance. The bike overall doesn't need any performance upgrades. It's got plenty of power just the way it is, and you can fine-tune that power with the exhaust valve springs. And I found the best spring that worked for me was the stock spring. Now the stock spring is a yellow, and it comes with a green one and also a red one. The red one is the more aggressive one. I tried that. I didn't like it. So I put the standard spring back in it, and I've been riding with that since, and I really like it. It's just a good overall feel. I don't need a whole bunch of hit. I'm mainly doing a lot of trail riding with this, but I still, you know, like a bit of power to mix it up on, you know, different obstacles I might come across. I went with the TM Designs skid plate. It goes right from the front all the way back, all in one piece to cover the linkage. So that's the one I chose just to keep the bike protected. Another annoying thing I found riding this bike was the factory brake pedal was too small, like it was too short, so I kept missing it. Not all the time, but quite a bit. I would miss the back brake coming into a corner, so I just went with this KTM one It's a lot bigger, it's a lot longer, sticks out further this way so you don't miss it with your foot. And that's really working great. That was a must have for me. I also put these HRB frame guards on that are rubberized for a little extra grip. But not only that, it really helped to dress the bike up with the all black frame and the factory black frame guards. I just thought it looked a little plain, so I think they're like $30 or $40, and it does actually help a little bit with gripping the bike. So moving along to carburation, after a lot of research I did online, for the best bang for the buck for what I thought was the JD jetting kit, and I'm really glad I bought that. It really cleaned up the jetting. I found it to be a little rich and I don't know, like it just sounded kind of gargly down low in the low RPMs and having a few issues starting it. Okay, so here we go for a little ride here. I actually did this ride last fall with the stock jetting in it, and I'll let you listen in on what I mean by it sounding kind of fat and gargly and just kind of not the way it should sound. Right about here you can really start hearing it struggling. Just not sounding that nice crisp two-stroke sound that it should. Now with the JD jetting kit installed, different area of course, but low RPM. So the JD jetting kit really cleaned that up. It comes with two different needles. They're colored. You get a red and a blue needle. I just went with pretty much exactly what their chart said to do. So I put the blue needle in with a 32.5 pilot, put the clip at 3 and a 430 main jet, and I live basically right at sea level, so that's what I did. And I also heard that these bikes benefit from going to a different needle jet, so I got the S1 needle jet, and I just did everything all at once just because that's what I heard worked great in them for the money. You know, you can go and get the smart carburetor for it or change it out from the Mikuni to a Keen. A lot of guys ripping on these Mikuni carbs, but if, in my opinion, it's working awesome. And for the $80, I think one of the better things for the dollar you can do to fix up the jetting. Sure, you could go with Electron carb if you're living in an area where you're riding altitude changes all the time, then you might want to go with something like that. But if you just want a reasonable, affordable thing to do to your carburetor, just clean up the stock carb with JD jetting kit, and I'm happy with mine. It's plenty of power, it's never fouled a plug, it runs nice and crisp, a lot better than the factory jetting. And I also went with the KTM vent hoses just to dress it up a bit. Got the orange ones, pretty nice looking. And I've been running the factory tire that came with it. I'm probably going to find something better eventually, but I'm just going to wear this one down. And then probably go to the matching rear tire for the Geomax 52 that I got on the front. Just thinking what else I can say. The bike came with a battery tender lead, which is a good idea, so you can just plug it in when it's in the shop. Now for suspension, I've really only played with the clickers a couple positions either way, depending on where I'm riding. I did settle on 110 millimeters of sag in the rear and I raised my fork tubes up to 10 millimeters from the top triple clamp, which is about 2 or 3 millimeters higher than the lowest line on the factory tubes. But because I am running 110, and I think that's about 5 millimeters more sag than what it's supposed to have, I kind of went a little higher on the fork tubes to kind of compensate for that, to keep the bike balanced. I'm only 5'7", so I kind of struggle when I'm in real tight spots and I need to put my feet down, so that's what I did for that. And I also shaved the seat down. I took about maybe 3/4 to an inch out of the seat. So I just took the seat off and unstapled the seat cover, and then just took a hacksaw blade, run it along there, and then re-stapled the seat cover back on. So for lubrication, I used the Motorex oil. KTM says to run it 60-1. I'm running it at 51 just to be a little more cautious. I'd rather have it run a little richer with the oil than, you know, have the risk of a piston wearing out or, you know, just extra wear on the engine. It's probably fine with 60-1, but I'm kind of old school, so still 50-1 is leaner than what I'm used to mixing, but it's been working awesome for me. It's got 11 hours on it now, and I have yet to foul a spark plug. Still got the original one in it. And for gear oil, when I changed it out after the break-in, I put the Bel-Ray 80 weight gear saver in. Again, that's just something I'm used to using in all my bikes, even my 450 Honda that has separate transmission oil. Okay, so that pretty much wrapped up everything I've gotten and done to the bike so far. So if you've stuck around this long, I appreciate it, and just gonna play some footage of a couple rides here. This ride I did last fall. It was kind of an organized, fun ride. It was lots of fun. Didn't have the bike totally set up yet. Conditions were real slick early in the day and in certain spots, but still lots of fun. Put the bike down a couple times on this ride, but yeah, I'll just let you watch the video here. Alright, here we are at a different riding area. Once again, this is with the JD jetting kit installed. So you can hear right away how much cleaner the bike's running. And I'll just let you watch. This cool riding area that I'll name Area 51. This next little uphill after this left hand, you can hear how good this bike climbs with no clutch work at all. so if you stuck around right to the end here, thanks again for watching. If you want to ask any questions about the bike, drop a comment down below. Really like hearing from you guys. Let me know what you think. And thanks again for watching. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and leave me a like.